This conference will now be recorded.
Hello? Hello? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Just double click on the library and let us use some commonly used blocks. In that we can see there's something called sources. Okay. So when you double click on sources, you have different type of sources over here from which you can select. So we are taking a sine wave. Okay. So what you need to do is just drag and drop on the layout. So whichever source you want, you can just drag and drop on the layout. So that will give rise to your continuous time signal or the sine wave. Yeah. So you can see now. So we have this sine wave generator, which is going to generate a continuous time signal. Right. Now the continuous time signal needs to be converted into a discrete time signal. So we will go for a zero order hold window, and we'll see where it is available. Okay. So we'll just again go back to the library and check out in the DSP system toolbox. Yes. So in this, let us go to signal operations. Zero order hold. We'll see from discrete, commonly used discrete. Okay, we have. So this zero order hold will be available in Simulink discrete library. Okay, commonly used blocks under that normal Simulink library discrete library. If you open, you can get this one zero order hold. So again, drag and drop over there, right? So this is the second thing. Then the next thing which we require is a buffer. So for buffer, we'll again go back to the library. So you need to pick up whatever is required for your design from all these libraries, whatever is available here. Okay, so buffer will go to the signal management thing. DSP system toolbox, under that signal management, and you have something called buffers here. So from this, you pick up this particular buffer. Okay, fine. So next is the FFT operation. So FFT operation, again we'll go back to transforms under the DSP system toolbox itself. Go to transform and pick up FFT. So Simulink is quite easy because you have ready-made blocks over here, and codes are written for each and every library functions which are used here. So we can just make use of them, do the design, define the parameters, and run the simulation. It will be a more easier task than to write a code which you were doing earlier. So okay, so right now we have more FFT block also over here, and what we require now is a gain block, and we need to find out the absolute value. So we need a ABS a function as well, and the final display unit, which is vector space. Okay, so we'll go to again the library and go for this normal mathematical operations, math operations. Okay, inside math operations you get both ABS also, as well as you get what the gain thing. So both you are getting it there. Okay, and the final thing is a vector scope, which is a display. Okay, and this display unit you can pick up from sinks. Okay, okay, this is a normal sinks. We'll go to the DSP system toolbox sinks. Okay, so in that just look for vector scope. Yeah, here it is. So we'll drag and put it. So these are the things, blocks we require for our design. Now we need to join. So first the sine signal which is generated from this signal generator needs to be connected to a zero order filter. Excuse me. So this zero order filter is responsible for converting this sine wave into a sampled signal or discrete signal, and then we are providing this output of zero order filter to buffer unit. Okay, and this output of buffer is connected to the FFT operation. Output of the FFT is connected to the gain terminal, and the gain is connected to the ABS. And finally, we are connecting the absolute value one minute. Okay, so finally we are connecting the absolute value to the vector scope. Okay, so this is the design. Now we need to define the parameters. So it depends upon you how much you want to set, what is the amplitude and frequency of the sine wave. So each of the parameters you can set by just doing a double click on this particular block. So when you do double click, this kind of window will pop in where you can define the values. Okay, so signal is a sine signal. It is obviously time based. Okay, with respect to time you're generating. So do not change all this. Amplitude you define. So for experiment, let us define amplitude of 8 volts. So peak amplitude is defined as 8. Okay, and then coming down to frequency. So frequency we are defining as this students see here the frequency unit is radians per second. That means this is angular frequency. This is not linear frequency, this is angular frequency. So angular frequency is generally denoted by omega, right? And that omega is equal to 2 pi f, we know that. So we have to write down the frequency, whatever you are entering in this space should be in the form of 2 pi f, right? The frequency should be in the form of 2 pi f. All right, so we will just put the 2 pi f thing here in place of frequency. So I'll just write down, so that 2 into pi is the constant, will be identified by MATLAB, multiplied by f. Okay, that's the linear frequency. I will assume is that it has 1 e3, which indicates 10 to the power 3. 1 e3 indicates 10 to the power 3, right? So this is how we are selecting the frequency, and just say apply. So because we have set both amplitude and frequency, and okay, right? So we have defined the first block, sine block, it's defined. Now moving on to the next block, that is the zero order filter, which is responsible for doing the sampling thing. So here you have to define the sampling period, at what period or with what frequency you want to generate the samples. Okay, and the sampling time will be reciprocal of sampling frequency, that is ts is equal to 1 by fs. So you are going to define the ts here. Okay, so we are defining this as 1 e, that is 10 to the power minus 5. So this is the time at which the sample should be collected at these intervals. Okay, so this is the only setting you have to do for this block. Say apply and okay, fine. So we have done the settings for zero order hold also, right? Now coming to the buffer size. Okay, so buffer, when you click on the buffer block, so you have to define what is the output buffer size. So here we will take the buffer size to be 1024. Okay, so this output buffer size, define it as 1024. We'll cancel it out in the gain block. Say apply and okay. So buffer we have selected. Now coming to the FFT as such, you need not do any modifications, and by default FFT is enabled, functions enabled, so don't do any modification in this block. So let it be as it is. Then the output, so sine wave converted into samples, then we pass through buffer, and then finally we are giving it to FFT. So once the FFT output is ready, it's given to a gain unit. So let us define gain. In buffer we have done the buffer size setting as 1024. So when you are defining gain, you define gain as 1 divided by 1024. So whatever is the buffer size you're taking there, just divide this over here, just to nullify that. Buffer over here is introduced in order to give some propagation delay to the samples which are generated by the zero order filter. Okay, so that's why then you say apply and okay, say apply and okay. So gain is also done, right? So ABS will perform its basic function. Basic function is whatever is the input, output will be only the absolute value of the input. So there's no more other settings there. And finally go to the display unit, vector scope. Okay, Now FFT is used for converting the time domain, the sampled signal which is already available in discrete form into your frequency domain, right? So whatever you are going to visualize now will be the frequency components, right? So vector scope, that's why the name vector scope. We have to define here frequency because because FFT has already converted the time domain samples to frequency domain. So you select frequency over here. So input domain is frequency. We are going to see the frequency plot, okay? And then you go to access properties here. Yes, this frequency range, there are the three ways in which you can select. Just select the second one, that is minus fs by 2 to fs by 2. This is the frequency range in which you would like to see the output, okay? So select the frequency range and need not do many other changes. So that's it. Say apply and okay. Now your model is ready for simulation. We have dragged the components. We have initialized all the parameters corresponding to each of the blocks involved here. And finally, we will now run the simulation and check the output. Okay. Now, because we have taken a sine wave, and then you have discretized it and then given for FFT. So usually when you find out the Fourier transform of sine, you get impulse functions. Okay. So these impulse functions, which will be located at f plus fc and f minus fc. This fc is the value which you have defined there. Okay, in the that is 10 to the power 3, right? What? Yeah, 10 to the power 3 is that fc which we took here while initializing the sine wave. So that's what we will get, two impulses located at plus minus fc frequencies with some magnitude. That part of equation wise also ma'am has shown it and we have uploaded in the group. You can refer to that, how we are getting two impulses from this given sine wave. Okay, so after this is ready, just say run the simulation. So this is what we are now getting, that is the two impulses. You can see here the two lines here. These are the two impulses. You can further scale also the frequency axis to see these two little separately, with a distance. But you can see two spikes here. These two spikes are the two frequency components of the sine wave what we have taken there. So this is what you have to visualize using the window. And what you can do is you can vary the parameters. It is not only that you have to give always amplitude as 8 volts and frequency. You define your own amplitude, frequency of the input wave. You define your buffer size. Make sure that you cancel out in the gain block. Okay, so whatever size you're taking here, reciprocal of that you define as the gain. And then you define at what rate you want to collect the samples. You can make all these changes and then run the simulation and check the output. So this is how this FFT using Simulink will be done. Very, very easy actually, the Simulink based experiment. You can try out. Those who have MATLAB installed can do this and share the results with us. Yeah, is it fine? Is it, did you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so try it out and we'll just give you a task. See, I've taken a sine wave generator and we have done it. Can we do something else also? Can we change the source? Can we take some other type of signal and find its effective? So all these things you can try out and do share the results with us.
Okay.
Fine then, we'll interact in the classroom. Whenever required, we can always come back and discuss in this meeting room. Okay. Fine, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.